You gonna say something? I'm just joking. Welcome to Weld.com. I've been recruiting some young folk that are interested in the program, and I recently met this young man. He came in and toured non-destructive testing and the welding program one night. We still need to get you to tour through machine tool, automotive, and mechatronics, right?
Yes.
Mr. Cody Williams, he is in an ag program at the high school. You're gonna be a junior next year?
Yes.
Okay. Got some good grades?
Yeah.
Good. Proud of you. So we're gonna do some MIG welding. You're very familiar with doing some MIG welding.
Yes, I am.
Okay. So I think I've set you up close to what you've been doing at the high school. We've got some clean 1/8" material. We're gonna do a fillet weld. And when we get done with that, I wanna show you something that you probably have not seen, and that is a different gas. And we're gonna turn the machine way up, different values. And the weld pool should be real hot and real fluid. It's basically, you're gonna do kind of the same position here. We may do a lap weld. It'll still be a fillet, but it's real hot and fluid, and that's what's done in production. And then there's a lot of spin-offs of this hot production work with flux core and metal core type wires. Some of them will run in any position, uphill, overhead, and some of them are strictly flat and horizontal. So we're gonna get our Iron Cat gloves on and our Arc 1 safety gear on. You're gonna use my hood today, aren't you?
Yep.
Probably weld better than me when I'm wearing it. I've got my Arc 1 lens in my pipeliner here, so I'll be good. So let's gear up and we'll be right back. Do you remember what some of your settings are in your machines? Do you have the Rebel at the high school?
We have the smaller one, but we don't use it.
215?
Yeah.
Okay. So I have argon C25 mix. I've set at about 25 cubic feet per hour. And we have 035 wire, 17.5 volts, and 215 inches a minute of wire feed speed. So you trimmed off and ready to go?
Yeah.
All right. Let's weld. Let's have some fun here.
All right.
You're not gonna burn me, are you?
No.
Okay. I'll tell you when to stop. Stop. Not bad. I see things. Well, I see something where I'm sitting, but do you see it?
Yeah, we start there.
If I turn this like this, do you see it?
Yeah, it's not all the way up on this piece.
Right. You're doing small circles, and that's fine. Your bead profile looks fine. It's just I see you missing slightly. I see you just, yeah, I mean, you know, you're just a little bit too far out this way. Yeah. So this time when we strike up, I want you to do something. First of all, stick that wire out just a little bit more. Well, that's too far. Before you start welding, I'd like for you to stick the wire down here and visualize right in that corner, okay? And I don't think it was your hand position so much, but if we put this up here like this, okay?
Yeah.
Right there, and I think you might have started out down here, and I mean, there's a couple times you hit it, but let's try this. Are you looking over the top of the gun?
No.
You're looking back here on my side and looking where you're going? Good, that's what you should do. Do this for me. I want you to watch the wire, and I just want you to go straight forward and stop, just like 1/8 of an inch, and stop for a second. So it's like step, pause, and I want it to be a small step. And the reason I'd say that is because maybe that'll just pinpoint you right down in the depth of that fillet weld in there. I think I asked you about being on the simulator.
Yeah.
There's a simulator that we have in the classroom that you can score all these different things, and one of them is where your wire's pointing travel speed, arc length, angle, the whole 9 yards. It's kind of fun. So, all right, carry on. Let's do this again. There you go, much better. Except here at the end, then we went the other way.
Yeah.
See that little curl right there?
Yeah.
That's what's hard about MIG welding. You know, a lot of people misunderstand MIG welding. They think, oh, just pull the trigger and you're welding stuff together. That's not the way it is. You know, management, they think you just turn it up all the way and pull the trigger, and that's clearly not correct. It's critical. You know, we're using a 35 thousandths wire, and we need to point it in the right direction. We need to point it somewhere where, you know, we're fusing two parts together.
Yeah.
Your dad over here, I know I've worked with him in the past, and I think he's seen this many a times. We build some gigantic unit, big structure or whatever, and the welds, you know, on some structured beams and fillet welds and stuff, they look fine.
Yeah.
Till you go sandblast all the mill scale off, okay? And then it's like you could stick a razor blade right next to the weld, because what happened was nobody cleaned the material to begin with. They made the weld with the wrong technique or wrong settings or something. And when the weld cooled off, since it was just laying on that layer of mill scale, then it just kind of peeled away from it. So there's no, we call it no fusion. And that's what's dangerous about short circuit MIG welding.
Yeah.
That's why we go to these other processes of flux core. It's hotter. It digs through the mill scale. It takes care of a few things for us.
Yeah.
Do you mind if I show you on the other side of this what I was talking about as far as where you point the wire?
No.
You did good. I mean, your technique and your travel speed are fine. I just need to get you in class here so I can slap you upside down. I mean, work with you a little bit here on some of these techniques here, you know?
Yeah.
All right, so I'm gonna point this. Camera guys over here, we'll go like this. I'll get my lazy rear end up out of this chair here. You stay where you're at, and I think I can go right down through here, and he can see what we're doing. Gonna be all right over there, camera guy? See how the wire is hitting both sides?
Yeah.
That's what I was talking about, that's what I was talking about, that short stitch.
Yeah.
To me, it's not hot enough. Or I could turn the wire. Actually it's not hot enough. I don't like that crown. I like MIG welds. I like MIG welds on this to be fairly small.
Yeah.
I mean, I realize there's some settings when you pull the trigger, it's just too big. So you want to experiment with a setting?
Sure.
Let's experiment with a setting and a gun angle and see if we can't change this whole look and still make a good weld.
All right.
So what do you suggest? You want to go to 18?
Yeah.
Okay. And let's go to 2. Wow.
That went quick.
Wow. I no more than touched that and it took off. So let's go to 18, 236, and I'm going to point the gun forward a little bit.
Okay.
I'm gonna weld back toward the camera, guys. See, this way, this is a drag angle.
Yeah.
This is a leading angle, so I'm gonna go toward you.
It didn't have as much crown, did it?
No, it's got a little peak in it. It's just slightly narrower, but it's about the same width. I felt like I went a lot faster on
Yeah,
that.
you
It sounded better to me.
did. You did.
I like these welds. Is there an exact ratio of volts and wire feed speed? I've never known one.
No.
And all these machines run different.
All right.
You wouldn't believe some of the comments we get on some of our videos, like if we're running low hydrogen electrodes. I got somebody that says that I have to run it at 83 amps. Really, 83?
It's a lot.
It's a 332nd 7018 and it needs 8. I can't run it at 78 or 80.
Yeah.
I'm going, all these machines run different. You know, they run theirs at 83, so I guess that's where it has to be. So volts versus amps, or wire feed speed. Wire feed speed is amperage, but you get all these different conditions. And then you look at, you know, if you look at some of the charts that are inside the machines and it tells you the material thickness and what your volts and amps, doesn't take into consideration any of the joint configurations or any of the positions, and then that changes everything. So you kind of gotta get to know and get a feel for how all these conditions react.
Yeah.
You want to clean some material up, change gas, and pull the trigger on something hotter?
Sure.
Okay. We're going to do some machine adjustments, so we'll be right back. All right, we have changed gas. We have changed gas. And we're on 95% argon, 5% oxygen. So this is going to give us a different reaction altogether in the arc.
So you can weld with oxygen then?
Yeah.
Because she was just asking that earlier.
Yeah, it acts, okay, somebody asks me all the time, they go, well, how come you don't just weld with pure argon? Well, yeah, when you're welding aluminum, but with steel, it makes the weld pool real unstable, and it undercuts on the edges.
Okay.
It's real hot, real fluid, it's real unstable, it never goes where you want it to. 2 to 5% oxygen or 2 to 8% carbon dioxide will make everything kind of settle down. You know what like wetting means? How materials wet into each other?
Yeah.
Yeah, I always think of it this way, is that you take a brown paper sack that you get from the grocery store and you wad it up in a ball and you throw it into some water and it just sits there on top of it like forever.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Put a drop of dish soap or a bunch of salt in that water and do the same thing, and you toss it in there and all of a sudden that sack just relaxes, and that's kind of like wetting. It just makes, and the same thing kind of with weld metal. It kind of wets into the parent metal, we should say, without undercutting the edges. So there's two things about this. This is going to be hot, fluid. I need to stick my wire out just a little bit further. I need to go about 5/8, 3/4 of an inch on my electrical stick out. All right, I'm going to pull the trigger. I'm going to lean this forward about 5 degrees or so, and I'm just going to glide across here. I may give it a very slight stitch, but again, I need to make sure that I'm pointing this wire right in the middle of those two pieces right there. Okay, here we go. See that end of that wire?
Yeah.
End of that wire is like a needle.
Mm-hmm.
When I bring it out on the out to the edge there, when I get out there close, it'll come out and then I pull it back through to kind of fill that crater in. If you just kind of went out there, you'd blow it all up, and then the painting crew would be all mad at you. You don't want to get the painters mad at you. All right, what do you think? Pretty hot, huh?
Yeah.
You want to give it a go?
Sure.
Just like that all the way. Maybe a little quicker. You know what that was toward the end?
What?
You're pulling the wire back just a little bit, and it got right at that threshold, and it sounded like you tooted mid-weld. Did you toot?
No.
You didn't toot in my weld, did you?
No. That's even bright with the hood on too.
Yeah.
That's pretty bright.
Yeah, it is a spray weld. Normally, if we're going to do this in production, we'd change our hoods over to like a number 11 or number 12. And there's times I'll put dark glasses on and leave mine at a number 10 if I'm going to be doing it all day.
Gotcha.
So it is pretty bright, huh?
Yeah.
Completely different set of values.
Oh yeah.
I mean, we're pretty, for an 035 wire, that's up there a lot. 27.5, 475. Hot, fluid.
I like
So,
it.
huh?
I said I like it though.
Yeah, it's a lot cleaner too.
Yeah.
I mean, we've got some silicon deposits on there, the little brown glass BB things in there, and you know, that's what you need to be careful of. When those things cool off, man, they come back and hit you in the lip.
Yeah.
But they come off of there real easy.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, think of this, as far as a production type welding process, if we're in manufacturing and we've got some fairly heavy material and we're going to have it in that position, why not change to this gas,
Yeah.
pull the trigger, weld twice as fast as what we were welding, you
Yeah.
know?
Mm-hmm.
What's wrong with that?
Nothing.
Okay.
Because that does go a lot quicker.
Does go a lot quicker, and we can make our welds a lot smaller.
Yeah.
And here's why. That weld is actually driving deeper down into the corner of that weld. So mechanically and by engineering, you know, you can make a smaller weld on the surface and it still be as strong or stronger than what you're doing with short circuiting,
Yeah.
in my opinion. So we could argue that all day long, but
Yeah.
anyway, learn anything?
Yeah.
It's so hot, it's cool, huh?
It is.
All right. See, next time you come back, we can play around and put some flux core wire or metal cord wire on or
Yeah, I've
something.
done flux cord. That's
Yeah.
what my grandpa taught me on.
Some of them run real clean, and some of them run like this, flux core wires.
Yeah.
I like the one that produces the kind of the light slag.
His is horrible slag.
Oh, it's not running with any gas.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, yeah, that's a gasless flux core. You know, believe it or not, that's down and dirty, and you can stick some stuff together with it, but again, all right, young man, appreciate you coming in, and thanks for watching Weld.com. I hope this helps. You know, again, this is a little recruiting session for the young man. I can tell you, he's got some skills. I hope you're getting this B-roll stuff. There's mine, and there's his, and they're not far apart, so you did good.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching Weld.com. I'm Bob Moffett with Cali College, and Mr. Cody Williams. Boom it out for the world.
What?
What's your name?
Cody Williams.
There you go. There you go. Thank you.